Tonight, we bring you a story that feels almost unreal, a story filled with mystery, shock, and emotions that will leave you speechless. For so long, the truth was hidden, locked away behind closed doors, guarded by silence and fear. But now the secrets are finally unlocked. And what comes out is not just surprise, it is heartbreaking, it is emotional, and it is powerful. Imagine being told that everything you believed about your favorite stars was only half the truth. Imagine finding out that behind the glamour, the lights, and the smiles, there were secrets darker than anyone could have imagined. These are not just whispers, these are revelations. And once you hear them, you will not be able to forget them. For years, fans searched for answers. For years, the media tried to uncover the missing pieces. But every time the truth was close, it slipped away, hidden under layers of denial and distraction. Now, at last, the wait is over. The truth is finally here, and it is so raw, so shocking, and so emotional that it will change the way you see everything. This is more than gossip. This is more than rumor. This is a turning point, a moment when hidden stories burst into the light. Behind every smile, there was pain. Behind every success, there were sacrifices that no one ever spoke of. And now all of it is coming out. The heartbreak, the betrayals, the struggles, the silent battles that no one dared to share. Stay with us, because what you are about to hear is not just entertainment. It is a revelation. By the end of this video, you will feel connected to your favorite stars in a way you never have before. You will see their humanity, their struggles, their deepest truths, and you will never look at them the same way again. So do not blink, do not scroll away, because the story we are about to tell is powerful, is emotional, and it begins right now. When people hear the name Blake Lively, they immediately think of a perfect Hollywood star. She is tall, she is beautiful, she is confident, and she shines on every red carpet. She walks on, but like every great story, her journey had a beginning, and that beginning was not as glamorous as what the world later saw on screen. Blake was born into a family that already had deep ties to Hollywood. Her father was an actor, and her mother was a talent scout. Acting was not something far away from her world. It was always around her. Still, for Blake, the road was not easy as a child. She never dreamed of chasing fame. She wanted to live a normal life and be a regular student. She loved movies, but she was shy to put herself in front of the camera. Yet destiny had other plans. People around her could see something special in her. Her smile, her energy, her natural charm made her stand out. After finishing her school years, she finally decided to try acting. That was the moment her real journey began. Her first big break came with the film The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. This movie brought Blake into the spotlight. Audiences loved her performance, and they loved her natural presence. On screen, she did not look like she was pretending to be someone else. She looked real and relatable. That was the first step toward the world that would one day know her as one of its brightest stars. But the biggest turning point came when she was cast in Gossip Girl. This was not just another television series. It became a cultural phenomenon. It showed the glamorous world of New York City, and young people around the world were hooked on it. The center of the show was Serena van der Woodsen. Played by Blake, Serena was stylish, confident, and mysterious. Through Serena, fans fell in love with Blake and welcomed her into their lives. Gossip Girl changed everything for her. The media followed her everywhere. Her photos were printed on magazine covers. Her style was copied by fans all over the world. She quickly became not only a star, but also a fashion icon. But with fame came pressure. Blake was no longer just an actress. She was now a brand. Every interview, every appearance, and every post she made was watched closely. Her life was suddenly glamorous and challenging at the same time. Chapter 1 shows how an ordinary girl became a global celebrity. It tells us how a student who once wanted a normal life stepped into acting with simple film, and how a single TV show lifted her to heights that many only dream of. But this was only the beginning, because behind the lights, behind the red carpets, and the perfect smile, secrets were waiting to be unlocked. Every illusion has cracks, and eventually those cracks began to show for Blake Lively. The whispers started when the world began looking closer. She was no longer just an actress. She was a global star. And that meant people noticed even the smallest details. Fans started to ask questions when she disappeared from public events for weeks. Rumors spread when she looked tired or nervous in interviews. Social media users dissected every gesture, every look, every silence. What once was seen as perfection began to be examined under a microscope. Behind the closed doors, Blake faced pressures that few could imagine. The long hours of filming, the constant attention, the endless demand to look perfect, all took an emotional toll. There were sacrifices she had to make that no one ever saw. Sacrifices of privacy, relationships, and of peace of mind. Hollywood does not allow weakness. A celebrity cannot cry in public. Without it becoming a headline, a celebrity cannot make mistakes without being judged by millions. So Blake, like many stars, learned to stay silent. She hid her struggles behind smiles. She carried her pain while the world celebrated her image. But whispers are powerful even when nothing is confirmed. People create stories, magazines published articles based on speculation. Fans debated online about her personal life. Critics claimed to know secrets about her relationships, her career, and even her family. Most of it was never proven. But the whispers grew louder for Blake. This was the most difficult part of fame. The world believed they knew her, but in truth, they only knew fragments of a carefully managed image. The real Blake remained hidden behind closed doors, and in that hidden space the pressure only increased. Whispers eventually become questions, questions eventually become investigations, and investigations eventually unlock the very secrets that were once buried. This was a path that would soon unfold in Blake Lively's story. For years, the image of perfection surrounded Blake Lively. Fans believed she was living the dream life with no struggles, no pain, and no darkness. But the truth cannot stay hidden forever. Even the strongest illusions eventually begin to break. The first cracks appeared in small ways. Magazines published stories about her relationships. Some called them fairy tales, while others whispered that not everything was as perfect as it seemed. Fans on social media noticed the gaps between appearances, and they began to ask questions. Why did she suddenly step away from the spotlight at certain times? Why did she avoid speaking about certain aspects of her life? These questions slowly build an atmosphere of curiosity and suspicion. The media world loves secrets. A single rumor can turn into a storm for Blake. Every photo, every outing, and every interaction was analyzed. Paparazzi followed her relentlessly, trying to capture moments that could tell a different story. Even the smallest detail became evidence for speculation. One tired glance, one absent smile, one change in routine, and the world claimed something was wrong. Social media added fuel to the fire. Fans turned into detectives, and every post became a puzzle. Theories spread across Twitter and Instagram. Threads were created that tried to connect events in her career with moments in her personal life. What began as whispers became trending discussions, and once the internet takes hold of the story, it grows beyond control. For Blake, this was the beginning of a storm. She could not escape. The truth was no longer hers. To reveal the truth was being shaped by media, by critics, and by millions of strangers online. Her privacy began to fade as speculation replaced facts. Even when she stayed silent, people created their own narratives. At times, she tried to ignore the noise and focus on her work, but the stories kept coming. When a celebrity lives in the center of attention, every silence feels like confirmation. The less she said, the more people assumed they knew the truth, and soon the pressure of silence became heavier than the pressure of speaking. This chapter in her life marked the turning point. The carefully constructed illusion of perfection was breaking. The world no longer saw only glamour and success. The world wanted answers, and the world would not stop until the secrets were finally unlocked. As the storm between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni grew larger, the matter moved beyond whispers and gossip. It began to carry the heavy weight of legal attention. What started as rumors and speculation soon transformed into a discussion about rights, justice, and consequences. At first, no one wanted to believe that the tension between these two stars could reach a courtroom. Blake had always been admired for her grace and quiet strength. Justin was known for his charm and calm presence, yet the conflict between them was too big to ignore, and the media refused to let it fade. Behind closed doors, lawyers began to step in. Blake's team studied every headline, every interview, and every statement made about her. They argued that many of the reports crossed the line into defamation, damaging her reputation in ways that could not be undone. Justin's camp, on the other hand, defended him fiercely. They claimed that he had every right to speak his truth and that he was being unfairly attacked in the press. This clash of perspectives turned into a legal chess match. Each side had powerful voices on their team. Every move was strategic, and every silence was calculated, because in Hollywood, a courtroom battle is not just about law, it is also about public perception. Talk shows began inviting legal experts to discuss the situation. Some argued that Blake had a strong case if she pursued defamation or breach of privacy. Others insisted that Justin had not broken any laws and that the real battle was happening in the media, not in court. No matter which side they supported, everyone agreed that the damage to their images was already significant. The courtroom atmosphere was symbolic. Even when official trials had not yet begun, fans gathered outside buildings where lawyers were rumored to meet. Paparazzi swarmed around every appearance, waiting for a single comment that could shift the story. In many ways, it felt like a trial was already happening, not in court, but in the eyes of millions watching online. Blake faced a painful decision, whether to fight harder legally or step back to protect her family and peace. Justin, too, had to consider the weight of every word he spoke. Both stars knew that once legal papers are filed, privacy disappears completely. Every detail, every email, every message could be dragged into the spotlight. This legal chapter showed how fragile the lives of celebrities truly are. One disagreement or one misunderstood statement can spiral into lawsuits, investigations, and endless headlines. For Blake and Justin, it was not only about the truth, it was about survival, because in the battle between law, fame, and reputation, scars often last longer than the verdict itself. In today's world, no story truly explodes until social media takes control. That is exactly what happened when the tension between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni spilled into the online space. It was no longer about magazine covers or gossip blogs. Now millions of people around the world were watching, reacting, and creating their own versions of the truth. Twitter was the first battlefield As soon as whispers of conflict began, hashtags started trending. Hashtag Team Blake and hashtag Team Justin appeared side by side each hour, brought thousands of tweets, some filled with love and support, others sharp and critical. Fans dissected every photo, every video, and every small clue they could find. They acted like detectives building theories about what really happened behind closed doors, and TikTok gave the story new life. Creators posted dramatic videos with emotional music retelling the events as if they were inside the story. Clips from interviews, old red carpet moments, and press appearances were stitched together. Some painted Blake as the innocent victim of unfair pressure. Others suggested Justin was being misunderstood and wrongly targeted. Every video collected millions of views, spreading the controversy faster than any traditional news outlet ever could. YouTube became the place for deep dives and long analysis. Commentators uploaded hour-long breakdowns with titles that promised shocking revelations. Viewers stayed glued to the screen, listening to every detail about Blake and Justin. Speculation became entertainment, and entertainment became the fuel that kept the fire alive. What made social media so powerful was not just the speed of the story, it was the emotion. People cried in their reaction videos, others laughed at memes and jokes created around the controversy. Some fans wrote long, heartfelt posts saying that they felt betrayed or heartbroken by what they believed was happening. The internet turned personal emotions into a public storm for Blake and Justin. The impact was overwhelming. They could no longer control the narrative. Even when their teams released statements, the comments sections were flooded with debates and anger. One sentence from Blake could be twisted into dozens of different interpretations. One quiet smile from Justin in a paparazzi video could be turned into a trending theory about his intentions. Social media gave power to fans, but it also stole peace from the stars, because once the story went viral, there was no turning back. Every phone screen became a window into their private struggle. Every hashtag became a chain that tied them to the controversy, and every trend reminded them that millions were watching and judging every second of their lives. This chapter revealed a painful truth about fame in the digital age, that the greatest stage is no longer Hollywood. It is the endless scroll of social media, where reputations can be built or destroyed overnight. And for Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, this digital storm was impossible to escape. The journey of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni is not just a story about celebrities. It is a reminder how fragile fame can be and how quickly admiration can turn into judgment. We have seen the illusion of perfection slowly break apart. We have felt the pain of rumors, the storm of social media, and the heavy shadow of legal pressure. For Blake, this chapter of her life has tested her strength in ways the world may never fully understand. For Justin, it has pushed him into a corner where every word and every action is magnified under the brightest spotlight. Together, their story has become larger than a headline. It has become a mirror showing us the price of living under constant attention. And yet, as powerful as this revelation has been, we are left with more questions than answers. Is the full truth already out? Or are there still secrets locked away waiting to surface? Will Blake and Justin choose to fight harder, or will they seek peace behind the curtain of silence? Could this storm destroy careers, or will it open the door to a new beginning? The world is still watching and waiting. Every post, every interview, every quiet gesture feels like a clue to what happens next, because the story is not over. It is only pause at the edge of something even bigger. The question is simple but haunting: what secret will be unlocked next? The journey of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni is not just a story about celebrities. It is a reminder how fragile fame can be and how quickly admiration can turn into judgment. We have seen the illusion of perfection slowly break apart. We have felt the pain of rumors, the storm of social media, and the heavy shadow of legal pressure. For Blake, this chapter of her life has tested her strength in ways the world may never fully understand. For Justin, it has pushed him into a corner where every word and every action is magnified under the brightest spotlight. Together, their story has become larger than a headline. It has become a mirror, showing us the price of living under constant attention. And yet, as powerful as this revelation has been, we are left with more questions than answers. Is the full truth already out? Or are there still secrets locked away waiting to surface? Will Blake and Justin choose to fight harder, or will they seek peace behind the curtain of silence? Could this storm destroy careers, or will it open the door to a new beginning? The world is still watching and waiting. Every post, every interview, every quiet gesture feels like a clue to what happens next, because the story is not over. It is only pause at the edge of something even bigger. The question is simple but haunting: what secret will be unlocked next?